Letter 487 by Charles Lamb. May 28, 1829. Dear W., introduce this or omit it as you like. I think I wrote better about it in a letter to you from India H if you have that. Perhaps out of the two I could patch up a better thing if you'd return both. But I am very poorly and have been harassed with an illness of my sister's. The ode was printed in the New Times, nearly the end of 1825, and I have only omitted some silly lines. Call it a corrected copy. Yours ever, C. Lamb. Put my name to either or both as you like. This letter contains Lamb's remarks on the secondary novels of Defoe, printed in Wilson's Life and Times of Defoe, chapter Roman 17, of Vol. Roman 3, and also his Ode to the Treadmill, which Wilson omitted from that work. See Vols. I and Roman 4, of the present edition for both pieces. P.M. June 3, 1829. Dear B. I am very much grieved indeed for the indisposition of poor Lucy. Your letter found me in domestic troubles. My sister is again taken ill, and I am obliged to remove her out of the house for many weeks, I fear, before I can hope to have her again. I have been very desolate indeed. My loneliness is a little abated by our young friend Emma having just come here for her holidays, and a schoolfellow of hers that was with her. Still the house is not the same, though she is the same. Mary had been pleasing herself with the prospect of seeing her at this time, and with all their company, the house feels at times a frightful solitude. May you and I in no very long time have a more cheerful theme to write about and congratulate upon a daughter's and a sister's perfect recovery. Do not be long without telling me how Lucy goes on. I have a right to call her by her Quaker name, you know. Emma knows that I am writing to you, and begs to be remembered to you with thankfulness for your ready contribution. Her album is filling apace, but of her contributors one, almost the flower of it, a most amiable young man and late acquaintance of mine, has been carried off by consumption, on return from one of the Azores Islands, to which he went with hopes of mastering the disease, came back improved, went back to a most close and confined counting-house and relapsed. His name was Dibdin, grandson of the songster. You will be glad to hear that Emma, though unknown to you, has given the highest satisfaction in her little place of gouvernante in a clergyman's family, which you may believe by the parson and his lady drinking poor Mary's health on her birthday, though they never saw her, merely because she was a friend of Emma's, and the vicar also sent me a brace of partridges to get out of home themes. Have you seen Southey's dialogues? His lake descriptions, and the account of his library at Keswick are very fine, but he needed not have called up the ghost of Moore to hold the conversations with, which might as well have passed between A and B, or Caius and Lucius. It is making too free with a defunct chancellor and martyr. I feel as if I had nothing farther to write about. Oh, I forget the prettiest letter I ever read, that I have received from Pleasures of Memory, Rogers, in acknowledgment of a sonnet I sent him on the loss of his brother. It is too long to transcribe, but I hope to show it you some day, as I hope sometime again to see you, when all of us are well. Only it ends thus: we were nearly of an age, he was the elder. He was the only person in the world in whose eyes I always appeared young. I will now take my leave with assuring you that I am most interested in hoping to hear favorable accounts from you. With kindest regards to AK and you. Yours truly, CL. Lucy Barton. Your ready contribution. I do not find that Barton ever printed his lines for Emma Isola's album. Dibdin, John Bates Dibdin died in May, 1828. Southey's Sir Thomas More, or Colloquies on the Progress and Prospects of Society, had just been published. This was Roger's letter. Many thanks. The verses are beautiful. I need not say with what feelings they were read. Pray accept the grateful acknowledgments of us all, and believe me when I say that nothing could have been a greater cordial to us in our affliction than such a testimony from such a quarter. He was, for none knew him so well. We were born within a year or two of each other. A man of a very high mind, and with less disguise than perhaps any that ever lived. Whatever he was that we saw, he stood before his fellow beings, if I may be forgiven for saying so, almost as before his Maker, and God grant that we may all bear as severe an examination. He was an admirable scholar. His Dante and his Homer were as familiar to him as his alphabets, and he had the tenderest heart. When a flock of turkeys was stolen from his farm, the indignation of the poor far and wide was great and loud. To me, he is the greatest loss, for we were nearly of an age, and there is now no human being alive in whose eyes I have always been young. Under the date June 10, 1829, Mr. MacDonald prints a note from Lamb to Ayrton, which states that he has two young friends in the house. Here, therefore, I think, should come a letter from Lamb to William Hazlitt, Jr., in which Lamb says that he cannot see Mrs. Hazlitt this time. He adds that the ladies are very pleasant. Emma Isola adds a letter which tells us that the ladies are herself and her friend Maria. This would be the Maria of Lamb's sonnet, Harmony and Unlikeness, evidently written at this time, see Vol, Roman 4.